Hi Annie, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So tell me what brings you in today?
I am having a hard time in my marriage, and I think I might be considering possibly ending my marriage after 10 years.
Wow, 10 years is a long time. I'm so sorry to hear that. What's going on, Annie?
My husband has decided, well, not decided, I shouldn't say that. He frequently spends way more time with his family than he does with me.
Mm-hmm.
It started off gradually, and I was just like, oh, he just needs an outlet to go hang out with his brother, and that's fine. And family is forever. I would never come. I would at least never hope to come in between him and his family
Mm-hmm.
because I know how important it is to him. But it's gotten to the point where we'll make plans, and if his brother even pops up in a text
Mm-hmm.
on his phone, it's, hey babe, sorry, he needs me, gotta go. And it's like, okay, but I need you too, for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. So I sense that you're feeling kind of, lonely here, that you're feeling a little neglected by your husband because of the relationship that he has with his brother, that every time his brother texts him that he's, gone and he just forgets about your plans.
Mhm. It started, like I said, it started off slow, and I was like, oh, not a big deal. Um, One thing that they have been doing together is working on a car, and it's, I don't know anything about cars. But I'm happy that he has something to do outside of work, because I know work is stressful for him, and
Mm-hmm.
but for example, the last time we made plans and we tried to, get together, and
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of a last ditch effort here to try to salvage something, see if it's even salvageable anymore.
Right, right.
He gets a call from his brother saying that, oh, a part for the car came in. He was like, babe, a part for the car came in. I gotta go see Johnny really quick. Okay, I love you, bye. And I was like, we had plans, but okay. So I've picked up my own hobby. I do scrapbooking now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's kind of my way of physically, tangibly holding the memories in my hands. So that way I try to remember, like, okay, it wasn't always like this. And I really do love my husband, but it's so frustrating. Like, to, I signed up to do life with you, not do life without you.
Right, and I can sense your frustration, in the fact that you feel like every time you set something up for you and your husband that he finds something else to do, and it has you feeling a little neglected.
Mm-hmm.
It has you feeling a little isolated.
It does, and I haven't tried to bring it up with him, but I guess my own issue with that is I constantly see my parents, and my parents I can't ever remember my parents arguing
Mm-hmm.
ever when
Mm-hmm.
I was younger. And they're just so happy, and they're just so in love, and
Mm-hmm.
I could see them being married until the day that they die. And so, like, when I got married, I wanted that same thing, and it came with minor conflict. I mean, we don't argue, but then again, we're not around each other enough to argue, so who knows?
Right, right.
And so, I haven't really brought it up with him because I'm worried about how he'll receive it and how he'll see it, but I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place of, I want to fight for my marriage, but am I willing to lose him in the process? And if I don't fight for my marriage, I'm going to lose him in the process anyway. So
I can hear, even through all of the the stuff that you've been facing within this relationship, from him canceling plans to build a car with his brother Johnny, to trying to do little things to kind of get him to remember that you're there.
mm-hmm.
That even through all of that, you still value, I can sense that you still value the relationship that you have with your husband, and that you just simply want it to grow from where it is,
Mm-hmm.
that you want more.
Yeah, I do want more. I love my husband, and I would do a lot. I would do almost anything to save our relationship, and I want to save our relationship. But I also kind of want him to realize that it's going downhill too.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. So you want your husband to recognize the contributions that you're putting in to save the marriage,
Yeah.
and that the marriage needs help.
Yeah, like I want him to acknowledge that there is something wrong, and that it's not like, oh, I saw the wife today, she smiled at me. Like, no, I'm always here.
Right.
Like I'm doing the best I can. I mean, I work, so it's not like I'm at home all the time. It's not nearly that bad. But
Right.
when I am home, or he'll come home from work, it's like it's much more like we're roommates and not husband and wife. And I miss that, because it in our first couple of years of marriage, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And granted, he still saw his family. He still hung out with his brothers, but it was like I was there and I took precedence when it was applicable, if that makes sense. Like he never, like he definitely set aside time for me.
Right.
And now it's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Or at least that's how I feel. He hasn't said that, but that's just how I feel. And I'd like for him to acknowledge that there is something going on, but I don't know how to make him see that there is something wrong. And I'm afraid to bring it up because I don't want him to be angry, or think that this is because he has a good relationship with his brother, because I think it's wonderful that as adults, he's able to have that good relationship with his siblings.
Right.
And that's extraordinarily valuable. As much as I love him and I value our relationship, like his family was there first.
Right.
So,
right.
and I acknowledge that. And I want him to see that I acknowledge that, but I also want him. Like, I want him here. I want him with me. And, yeah.
So, from what you're telling me, Annie, it sounds like you feel like you're putting a lot into trying to save your marriage, because you value that relationship. You just want that relationship to go to the next level. You want that relationship to, grow and blossom, but at the same time, you feel like you're fading in the background, like you're kind of almost fading out of the picture because of how much time he spends with his family.
It's hard. It is hard. I've tried to talk to my parents about it. And my mom, it's hard to talk to my parents about it because I don't want them to think, oh, their baby girl is being hurt. Because I mean, it's it takes two to tango. I mean, obviously, I'm not putting all of the blame on him. I would assume that somewhere I went wrong, and I would, if I could put a fine point on it from my point of view, I think it would be that I kept allowing it to happen, and I didn't fight for our time. It was just kind of like, oh, Johnny called. Okay, we'll go have fun. Johnny called. Okay, go have fun. Johnny called. Okay, go have fun.
Okay.
So I don't put all of the blame on him. I do take some of the blame on myself, because this is a relationship. It's not just one person. So when I try to talk to my parents about it, my mom does not have as much insight as my dad. My dad, has looked at me and he's talked to me. He's like, can you sit down and talk to him? Like, I'm sure he doesn't see it. He sees it as, well, you're smiling and you said go have fun. Like, that automatically says that you should have fun.
Right.
So it's like, and I understand where he's coming from. I also expressed to my dad, I am worried about how he'll receive it. And I'm worried about bringing it up, because I don't want to fight. Like, I don't want it to be a fight.
Right.
And my dad, had some good insight on that. He was like, like, maybe you should say something because he doesn't know. He probably doesn't see it.
Mm.
And I know that he still loves me. I know that my husband still loves me. So I guess it's not I want to divorce him. It's more I'm extraordinarily frustrated, and I want the tools to be able to better our relationship, to fix the cracks that are starting to happen, and to rebuild our relationship, because it will not, if it continues like it is, it's not going to end well.
Mm.
So
And I'm so sorry to hear what's going on with you, because I can hear all the conflict and I can hear all of the frustration that you're going through. And I know that this can't be easy for you, because again, this is somebody that you love, someone that you've invested time in, and you do not want to give up on this relationship, and you want, to better your relationship. You want your husband, and it's something that you value that relationship, and you value the ability to be able to communicate with your husband without an argument. So I can sense the frustration and I can sense the conflict, because you want to talk to him, but you're not sure how to approach him, because you do not want an argument. You said your parents have been married for years and you've never seen them argue, and you want to have that relationship with your husband, and that's something that you strongly value.
mm-hmm.
And I can sense that and I can see that. So I want you now to just think about the advice your father gave you, because it could very well be that he doesn't notice it. Now, how would that emotion, how does that make you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? The thought that he doesn't notice it.
Initially, it makes me feel I can understand why he doesn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first thought is, okay, it's, I've been so lax for so long that it makes sense that, like, he just doesn't see it. He doesn't see that I'm getting frustrated.
Mm.
It also makes me frustrated. Like, how can you not understand that, like, I am your wife and I want to be with you and I want you for myself every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I also, get a little sad. Like, we've been married for 10 years and you still can't figure out, like, what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also, again, understand that, he is, the way he is, he's much more of a doer than a feeler. So I can also understand, like, okay, no, he's never really been good at emotion.
Right.
So.
Right. So then let me ask, have the two of you ever had an argument?
Not that I can honestly remember, and if we did, it was over, like, who's gonna do the dishes. Like, it wasn't ever, earth shattering, like, oh my gosh, we're yelling and screaming at each other, foundations of the house is gonna erupt. Like, it's not, it was never that bad, ever.
Right. So I can understand your discomfort about wanting to bring this to his attention, because you guys have never had to be in a place where you had to have a conversation like this, where it could sway either way. So I understand where your discomfort is and your conflict is, and I want to just dig a little deeper into that. So we've never had an argument. You guys have never had an argument. You've never, had a dispute outside of who's going to do the dishes, right?
Yeah.
So it's been pretty calm within the relationship. So when it comes to talking to him about his brother, outside of it becoming an argument, what is your biggest reservation?
My biggest reservation is that